What's up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to give you 5 tips to instantly rank up in Rainbow Six Siege that you can be implementing into your game right now to instantly make you a better player. So the first thing you want to be doing is figuring out your settings. This is something that you can immediately change in your game to instantly improve. Now, one thing that I do want to say is depending on what sort of scopes you want to be using, depends on what your aspect ratio and your sensitivity should be. So for one, if you're playing support, typically you have less longer range scopes like Smoke. He only has 1x sights. You have people like Mute, again, 1x sight. And then I like to play 1x sight on Ace as well, just because the recoil is a bit much with the 2x on. And if you like 1x sights, then 4-3 or 5-4 aspect ratios are going to be your friend. And because of that, you want a higher POV. And due to this, your sensitivity is going to be relatively low. I run 800 DPI with a 4.4 hip fire and around 40-50 on all of my scopes. This can vary though. There can be a lot of space in between the highest scope in the game and the lowest scope of the game, but it is all personal preference when it comes down to it. It's just a lot easier to see through those smaller scopes when your screen is stretched compared to when your screen is just completely normal. But with those higher range scopes, it's a lot easier to control recoil and control that longer range scope just because of how it's not stretched, and it makes it look a lot easier to shoot smaller objects from a longer distance. So if you're playing a more fragger heavy type of role, or you're playing flex, you can have a lower FOV and have a normal aspect ratio. So just be thinking about, like, who do you play and what aspect ratio / FOV do you want because of that. Before I get into my tip, I just want to say that it is pouring rain outside as I'm recording, and it's not going to stop anytime soon. So if you do hear that, I apologize, but there unfortunately is no way around it. My second tip is, if you want to improve in Rainbow Six Siege, there are 3 key elements. There's aim, there's game sense, and there's map knowledge. And the first thing that I'm going to go over right now as my second tip is game sense. So game sense is extremely easy to improve, and it's probably the easiest thing to improve out of the big 3. And the way you improve it is you play the game and you learn from people who are better than you play the game. So playing the game to your first 1,000 hours is going to mainly help you get to where you want to be in terms of skill, in terms of being like an average player, a plat player, and so on. But after that, there's only so much you can learn on your own, and this is when you need to start going to YouTube videos like me, or start to go to streamers, start to go to people that are better than you and watch what they do and think, why are they doing that? Why are they on this position? Why are they playing this operator? Why are they picking this angle? Why are they reinforcing that? Why are there footholds here? Think about the why of everything that these better players do, and then implement that into your game. And then the number 1 tip that I can give you to improve your game sense as well is to learn from your mistakes. If you're dying and you're not thinking about why you died, and you're not learning from every single time you die, you're not going to get better. If you die, even if it's a simple death that you could not have avoided, think about some way that you could have done something differently to not have died to that, and you will improve every single time, especially if you're not making the same mistake twice. So that is my second tip, is increase your game sense through playing on your own responsibly and looking at people that are better than you. My third tip is general aim. And there are people who increase their aim by going on aim labs, by going on Kovacs, and I want to say, for at least Rainbow Six Siege, that doesn't work. Stop doing it. It is a complete waste of your time. For any other game, it's perfectly fine, but the movement mechanics in Siege are nothing like any other game, and aim labs has failed to create this time and time again. So my personal opinion is you need to be hitting up T-hunts at the very beginning of your aim training session, just to get your basics down, right? You start off with aiming insights while you're killing people, 1-tap headshots, you start off with recoil control, and then once you've mastered the basics for your day, you then go into death matches, and you crank out, I'd say, 5 to 10 death matches. A lot of death matches, right? That's just to get you shooting other actual players. So you're getting used to taking actual gunfights with people that crouch and people that quick peek, so that you can get better accustomed to real gunfights. And then something that I also want to say is every time you lose a match, do 3 death matches, and every time you win a match, do 1. This is something that I got from a professional Valorant player back when I used to play that game, and it is a very good tip in general. But like I said, that's just for warming up. Actually improving your aim is going to come from breaking down each part of your aim and focusing on that for a few days at a time. So there's a lot of things that come into your aim. There's quick peeking, there's crosshair placement, there's recoil control, there's ADS placement, there's trigger finger for pistols. There's a lot of different things. And so what you can do is you can go into a T-hunt or a custom game and think, okay, I'm going to focus on this one thing, and I'm going to sit here and practice the recoil for my most played gun until I master this recoil. And you do that for every single different aspect of your aim. So I'm going to sit here for an hour and quick peek on both sides. I'm going to sit here for an hour and practice recoil. I'm going to sit here for an hour and practicing aiming head level. So that's my third tip on what you can instantly do to improve in Rainbow Six Siege, is to get your mechanics up. My next tip, and one of the most basic tips you can ever learn, is map knowledge. Now, map knowledge is very, very easy to come across. There are 3 things you can do to increase map knowledge. Number one is just straight up playing the game and getting used to how maps feel. Once you get a good understanding of how the rounds go per site and per map, you understand the flow of the game, where defenders sit, where attackers should be pushing and getting walls. It makes it a lot easier to attack and defend on a map. And then the second thing you can do is start learning callouts, so that when your teammates give you a callout or you give your teammates a callout, it just makes the flow of information a lot easier. So you do this by looking at the compass in the bottom of your screen and just looking at the room that you're in on that compass. That's very, very basic callouts. You'll learn callouts like red stairs, bar, cigar, like very, very basic callouts. And then what you can start doing is playing ranked a lot, and you'll learn very niche callouts. And then you start watching Pro League, or you're with a team and making your own callouts, right? Like very niche callouts are Harry Potter. You have T1, T2, and T3 for rafters. There's certain spots like Shaiko and Bolo named after pro players who made some awesome plays in certain corners, and those corners are named after them now. So stuff like that, you can learn a lot of different map callouts, and because you know these map callouts, you can better give your team information on where the enemies are so they can get some free kills and you can get some free ranked wins. My final tip on stuff that you can do to immediately increase your skill level in Rainbow Six Siege is learning how to drone correctly. I'm actually going to make a video next Wednesday on an entire droning guide, but essentially you just want to be not wasting drones. So a good thing that Braxton said that I have lived by to this day is make every single drone a kill. And if you're on support, then just make every single drone a camera. So what you can do to better understand this is if you're droning the site every single round and your drone is dying, that is terrible. 2 drones are the equivalent of 2 executes. What I mean by this is you can drone in while you're roam clearing, and then you know where a guy is and you're able to execute on that guy and kill him. Or you can have a pre-placed drone on a staircase to watch your flanks, or you can have a pre-placed drone in sight to help you execute on the site once you've gotten the wall open and you're there. Just using your drones for general information to then act on that information is very good. Swinging off of drones, swinging off of flanks if people are flanking your flank drones. And you play around your drones the same way you'd play around a Legion mine, right? If someone hits a Legion mine, you're gonna swing it and get a free kill off of it. It's very, very basic, and you need to start utilizing your drone as important as a piece of utility as you would your primary or secondary gadgets. Like I said, that's an entire video for itself, and I'm going to make a video on Wednesday about how to drone, so make sure you sub to the channel so that you can see that. That was a very basic guide on how to get better at Rainbow Six Siege. If you want to get even better at very niche things or at certain operators, I have an entire operator guides playlist that I'll put in the left on the end screen right here. Don't forget to sub to the channel, like the video if you liked it. My name's Alika, and I will see you in the next video.